let's begin demonetization. Well, hello everyone. Oh, I make myself more centered. There will be a background here. So welcome back to Gaming Toys IP and welcome to our new series, Bite Size History. Now, you probably see me with my fascination about geography. With that, you would probably assume that I am very good at history, which I am. So as the historian I am, I'm going to take you through history in very simple, bite-sized videos. And yeah, so let's begin. I decided let's start off with one of the more known history subjects, World War II. You've all heard about it during your life, and if you're in school right now, or if you're already out of school, you've heard about it. You probably know quite a few things about it. It's one of the more common known history facts. But still, there may be some stuff that you may not know about or have questions about, like how did this war exactly start? Or how did so many people like Hitler come to power? So this is where we begin. This will be multiple part series. I want to start off with World War I because this basically causes all World War II. Science tells us that cause and effect is a thing. Something happens, which is a cause, and it has an effect, either it being good or bad. So this is basically what happens. World War I happens. I'm not going to go through major details. All you need to know about is the Treaty of Versailles. This is what ends the war and basically decides who gets what. Let's start off with Austria-Hungary. You probably never heard of that, unless if you play Battlefield 1. Okay, so Austria-Hungary was divided up into multiple countries like Poland. Keep Poland in mind. It's basically all we need to know about it. Its government was disbanded and it was divided into multiple countries. We'll get into Hungary also. The Ottoman Empire. And no, that is not that thing you have in that living room. It's how we just call it Turkey, okay? It's Turkey. We aren't going to talk about some stuff that happened during the war because this video will be blocked in Turkey. So all you need to know is the same thing. It was divided up into countries. Countries got some land, and Turkey had to face a lot of representation from many governments, which its government itself was destroyed. All right, last and finally, let's talk about the main player, Germany. Germany was not disbanded, but did lose a lot of territory. And this is where Poland comes into play. The Polish corridor, which divided Germany into two parts, became a very serious problem in German politics. So Germany kind of lost control of the Rhineland, where all their factories were, so people lost their jobs, and now you don't have enough money to buy food. And then this is where we get into the German part of this, which will basically explain World War II. So Germany is basically super affected by this. I mean, you lose your country, it's all separated, but no, the people who are fighting against, the Allies, they all demand money, especially France. They want it now, and they want it on a silver platter. So Germany, not reading Economics 101, thinks to themselves, I'll just print more money. And which they do print more money. And as you may know, the more money you have, the one money that you used to have gets devaluated very, very quickly. So now you need millions of the money paper to buy a single loaf of bread. Inflation's super high that Britain and America decide, you know what? You don't have to give us it. America even asked if they need this, if Germany needs assistance with its with its economy. But France still demands more for its money. Eventually, the other two allies get France to calm down. But France decides the Rhineland is mine. Ooh, did that make the German people mad? And of course, we have German uprisings. And here comes the socialists. But wait, we have to go back to 1917. Russia is a mess. It is, like every single century it is. There's a revolution about communism being led by Vladimir Lenin. And, well, he's exiled from the country and is sent to Switzerland. So Germany during the war fought. If we bring Lenin back to Russia, could we kick Russia out of the game? So they find Lenin, they load him onto a train, and they send him to St. Petersburg, Russia, where he and his other communist friends make uprising. This is where Stalin comes into play. They start uprisings, and eventually they take over the government. This will be a separate series itself. We just need to know the communists take control of Russia. So now there's communist Russia. Now we can go back to Germany and Hungary. So communist Russia and just the ideology itself is spreading throughout Europe because it has its slogan that's like, hey, look, we help the people, we take money from the rich, we give it to the poor, everyone's happy. But that's not how it is. So Hungary adopts it, there's a Hungarian Civil War, again, separate series. And then Germany has a new party, the Socialist Party. And then this is where politics get very, very messy. You have the Socialist Party, which is one of the more lesser parties, and you just have multiple parties that I don't want to go over because they're very confusing because they kind of believed in the same and different things. But the only one you need to know about is the Nazis. So in late 1933, the Nazis started gaining an uphold in German politics. And their leader, Hitler, kind of started taking control of the whole entire place. Hitler becomes Chancellor of Germany. And this is where the Hindenburg happens. Not the Hindenburg. Let's just call it the White House in Germany because that's more simpler. The White House in Germany is burnt down one night in 1934, if I believe. So Hitler blames it on the Jews. And you could it's still a mystery who actually did it. It could have been the Jews or it could have been Hitler himself setting it on fire. But this is a giant outbreak in German politics where each side's now angry at each other. And the president of Germany decides, well, I'm old enough, I can't really do this, so what if I give power to Hitler? Hitler takes that power, and now he's in charge. Now, Hitler basically does not listen to anything that's in the Treaty of Versailles. He expands the military, and then he starts looking over at Poland. Polish corridor separates Germany, which many German people hate. So they start getting ready to go to war. But first, you need some more land to go to war. So they capture Austria to their south. And then they try to advance into some parts of Czechoslovakia, which are mainly ethnic German. Britain and France get involved and are like, whoa, you cannot do that. This is a country. But Hitler says, but I want that land. So they sit down and do diplomatic settlements and, well, without inviting Czechoslovakia to side over its own land, Britain and France and Germany decides, all right, I'll just take the little parts which are mainly ethnic German and I'll stop there. The year's 1938, and this is the last year before World War II will break out. And now Germany kind of wants to take over most of Czechoslovakia. And I just spared the details. Czechoslovakia is taken with the help of the Slovakian part, which is basically bribed. Let's go south to Italy. Now, Italy was not a major player in World War I, but still, after World War I, they were kind of cheated out of the deal. A weak government and not the land it was promised when it served on the Allies. The Italian people were angry. And this is where Benito Mussolini comes in. He was the main head player in fascism, and he rises to power like Hitler and promises the Italian people to rebuild the Roman Empire, basically. So many wars happen in Africa, like the Ethiopian Wars, which we'll go over. And basically, Mussolini and Hitler become best of friends. So now we have that over. Let's start with the beginning war. August 31st, 1939. One day before World War II officially begins. Hitler sends some German soldiers and they attack a Polish internet station, I would say, like a radio station. And, well, they take over the Polish troops that were guarding it. And German soldiers there, dressed up as Polish troops, and say, ooh, look, this station is a part of Germany, and Polish troops are invading it. So kind of like saying to the world, look, Poland's acting up a little bit, but they aren't. So I think I have the right to invade. So that's what Hitler does. He invades Poland on September 1st, 1939. And then World War II begins. But that's all for next episode. This is part 1. And I hope you learned a little bit.